Good question.
Then she sees everyone dressed nice, and she's I was like,
Why are you wearing
say thank you for following the compliance piece with safety protocol. We promised our community and the school board that we would follow expectations throughout the duration of the year for safety reasons. And so we're going to continue with that commitment for the next few days, hopefully. With that in mind, though, if you are a presenter, we're kind of far away. If you feel like they can't hear you, you can take your mask off if you so choose. So, good evening, and welcome to the Lin-Wood Booster Club Sports Banquet. This evening would not be possible without some dedicated super sports backers. Lin-Wood is in their blood, their breath, and their soul. Please show some appreciation for these Lin-Wood boosters. Debbie O'Connor, Mike O'Connor, Kristen Morris, Chad Morris, and Brenda Avery. They've really been the backbone to this last year and a half that I've been around, and I noticed these meetings. I popped in periodically, probably not often enough, but very dedicated people in this community. Also, Stephanie Olson, Dan Adams, Tom Montesi, Mark Hood, Kevin Kleinpeter have contributed to this evening in countless ways, and we want to thank them very much. So I just want to say that I'm really proud of the efforts by this community of students and coaches. Many hours of blood, sweat, and tears that go into sports season. The amount of time they put in is ridiculous. The amount of time struggling, improving is just overwhelming. And you got to kind of ask yourself, why do they do it? What's the purpose of being a student athlete or a coach or a mentor? It's different for each of them, but the common thread is right here. It's Lin-Wood. And as individuals, we have various hopes and dreams, and we hope that we can aspire to those. And again, it's through this platform. Sports or not, we can't get to our goal without help, without teammates, parents, coaches, supportive community members, mentors. We can't get there without our teammates, our friends. Students, this night is all about you, but don't forget those who have supported you in the process. Anything is possible with a team of supporters, and you're very fortunate to have that at this school and the community with parents and friends. So, how cool was last night? If you remember the day. There's been a lot of cool moments that I've witnessed as a principal here and on the sports field and not on the sports field, but last night was pretty cool. And what they did, working out of an early jam, facing moments of self-doubt due to errors. They struggled at the plate at times, and just like that, bam, a run, a couple more, a few more after that, and then an insane inning to end the game. Momentum, for or against you is real. You can let it bring you down, or you can rally behind one little walk to first base, a stolen base, a base hit, and the next thing you know, a family of supporters cheering. You're being coached up, your team is alive, and good things happen. So don't fear, no matter what. Marvelous things will happen. Just be glad and rejoice in that opportunity of supporters and community. Because no matter what, there's always something to celebrate, just like we have tonight. So boosters, thank you for allowing us to celebrate this evening. No doubt it will be memorable and marvelous. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Privanel. I think we're going to hear a lot of the same themes as we go through this evening. On behalf of the Lin-Wood Booster Club, I'd like to welcome you all here tonight to our annual recognition ceremony. Last year, we were not able to come together to recognize our student athletes. We are so happy that we can get together this year, although a little different than past years. But what hasn't changed since COVID? Next year, we hope to return to a full program, including the middle school athletes and refreshments. We are so happy, though, that we can celebrate our student athlete successes from this past year. We are extremely happy that we were able to have the sports programs this year. High school athletics is such a big part of a student's life. So many of our students live for those moments on the field, court, trails, or ski slopes. And it's also a big part of our community. High school athletics pull our community together as we all gather to root our teams on. There is one group here tonight with us that we need to show our appreciation for. They give countless hours to our student athletes throughout the seasons. Many times, they are more than just the person on the field or court directing the students, the athletes. They check in on the students to make sure they're keeping up with their schoolwork so they can participate on the teams. For many of the students, athletics is a piece of the puzzle that keeps them focused and motivated to work harder in the classroom. Our coaches are here because they want to make a difference in our students' lives, and many remember the days when they played high school sports. They want to pass on their love of the game to our student athletes. Let's all stand and give a round of applause for all of our coaches who are here with us tonight. For juggling all of the schedule changes, including teams, umpires, and transportation. The Booster Club is a group of volunteers that work hard over the course of the year running events to raise money to support and recognize our student athletes. We depend on our volunteers that come out and help us run our events. That's all of you in this room. Our current slate of officers is Christy Morris, President, Denise Drapo, Vice President, Mike O'Connor, Treasurer, and myself, Debbie O'Connor, the Secretary. Our biggest event is tonight, where we recognize all student athletes that participated on school teams. During the school year, we celebrate our senior athletes at the end of each season with the underclassmen preparing speeches to honor them. And if you haven't gone to one of these, it's really, really nice event, and the kids do a great job. We do senior sports pictures each season for each of the seniors for the sports they participate in. Each senior gets the poster to keep as a memory of their time as a Lin-Wood athlete. Additionally, we continue to recognize eligible upperclassmen with varsity jackets. We help out with financial support for student groups such as Youth in Government, FBLA. We support athletic teams with preseason clinics, tournaments, and summer league fees. This year, we also sponsored the online games that many of us watch through the Northeast Sports Network. We provide financial support for all teams for items that may not be in the school budget. We try as best as we can, within our resources available, to celebrate our student athletes. We couldn't support all of this without our fundraisers. And prior to this year, we would run events throughout the year. We are currently in jeopardy of losing the money we receive from Highland Games each year, which is our biggest fundraiser. Due to changes they have for the upcoming games, our services are not needed this fall. All of their ticket sales are online, and there will be no tickets sold at the event, which is what we did along with over 40 volunteers, many of you in this room. The Highland Games gave us a fixed amount of money, which is a big part of how we are able to run tonight's event. Other events we normally do include a 5th and 6th grade basketball tournament, in the winter and a middle school baseball and softball tournament in the spring. And you'll also see us at some other events like the annual basketball alumni games and the ice cream social in the spring. Every piece and event helps to support our students. As we transition to next year, we will be looking for new ideas for fundraising and volunteers to help us continue on with our Booster Club traditions in supporting and celebrating our athletes. Thanks again for all of your support of our student athletes. We couldn't do it without you. We are all lumberjack strong. It's in our roots. Tonight's awards for the 3-season athlete awards.
Thank you, Mr. Coverdale, Booster Club. Thank you. Special thanks also goes to Miss Olson. I guess I won't really sit in here anymore. She helped prepare all these certificates, so if you see her next week, please thank her. It took a lot of time to put it all together. I'm here to present the 3-season athlete award. We had 3 athletes, 3 seniors that participated in 3 sports every year, and I'd like them to come up and get their award as well as a sweatshirt. Olivia Drapo. Now I'd like to recognize the scholar athletes. And in order to be a scholar athlete, you must be a high school senior, have a B+ average, and participate in at least 2 NHA recognized sports. And there's usually a ceremony in Concord, but they didn't have it this year. You may have seen the slideshow that was on Facebook, and they're recognized as well. But we have a certificate and a letter from NHIA. And please come on down and get your letter and your certificate. Olivia Drapo. Julian Clark. Haley Curtis. Maximilian Blanc. Charles Laus. Jacob Morris. Congratulations, first scholar. And now our first coach coming up here to present to the cross-country running team, Mrs. Bowden.
Hi everyone. coaches probably feel the same way. We were the first sports in the fall to come back after there was no spring sports. We were kind of the first ones to dip our toes into the water of this whole pandemic. I don't know if any of you student athletes, I'm sure, kind of felt this pressure. I know I did as a coach, but to make sure we did it right. Because if we weren't going to do it right in the fall, that was going to affect all the other seasons. And that was a lot to manage. I could not have done it without all of my athletes. I could not have done it at all without Aaron. He was impressive beyond belief, and I can't thank you enough. So thank you. Before I continue, because I never like to stand up here by myself, if all of you guys from Cousin Hampshire could come up. And you're welcome. Every year, and all the coaches I think will agree, like, what am I going to say? This is kind of a big event. It's a huge event, right? And every year I'm like, I've got this plan, and really when it comes down to it, I'm stuck here and I'm going to wing it. So much like, muddling through this whole pandemic and all this, we're just going to go for it. We're going to see where it leads us. So, I was thinking, let's just break it down to pros and cons, because at the end of the day, I could talk for days about these guys. They are sportsmanship beyond belief. I would literally take them anywhere as a whole group, to any function, to any state, to any destination at all ever. I can't speak enough about how wonderful they all are and how much I adore them. And parents, thank you for sharing them with me. So pros and cons. Cons. Really, at the end of the day, there was not a single one. This was a season of all seasons. A season filled with nothing but pros. The first year I was here, I had a female and a male athlete, and that was it. And I took a year off because I had my daughter. And I came back, and I was one female coach with 3 male runners. It was a good time, AJ. AJ was one of them. AJ and I have been together now for 4 years. Kathy and Nick, I've been with you for 4 years, and I feel like this is the end of an era, and I'm going to try not to cry. It was wonderful. We had a season. Above all else, you all had seasons, and above anything else, that is amazing and wonderful. So that is probably the biggest pro. We were lucky enough to partner up with Profile. We got to know them very well last year, and we had four races. It was a very small season this year. We had 2 home meets. I've not had a home meet my entire coaching career, so that was very, very exciting. Although they're not all here, I have a varsity girls division, I have a varsity boys division, and this year we also welcomed a middle school girls division. So while Aaron and I have this plan of filling the bus, this by no means was here to do that. We have grown from 1 team to now 3, which is amazing, and I'm so excited about that. It's huge. It's huge. So that team is also. Mihaly, oh, sorry. Are you ready? Okay. All right, here we go. So, an incredible runner. I think it is fair to say that it took until this year, like with most of them, to realize just how quick he is. He stepped up tremendously this year and really went for it. It was an awesome season for him. You should be very proud. Britta stepped up tremendously we had new people coming in, right? And she was like our little mother hen. It was so great to see. Because she was just new to us last year, so now she's taking all of this wonderful information that I bestowed upon her, and she's giving it to this next generation of runners, and it was so exciting to see, and she just put her whole heart into it, and it was awesome. Anna had a great year. Everyone had a great year. Anna had a really, really nice year. She too, I think, is starting to find out. She absolutely did just how quick She isn't just how capable she is, and it was tremendous to see her grow. And the speed that was coming off and the timing that was coming off at every one of our meets. She did a lot of buddying up, and it was perfect. You know, they equaled each other out beautifully. Me and Holly just likes to go. A easy run was not in his vocabulary. So Anna kept him true to that, and at the same time, he was able to push Anna, and it was beautiful, and it was so great and wonderful to see throughout the whole season. And then we have AJ. AJ, we've been together for 4 years. He, for sure, it took a whole season to, back freshman year, that was many moons ago, to realize just how quick he was, and he, was able to beat me back, because at one point, I would beat him back. This can't be true. I have no shot at all at ever beating him back, ever. He's far too speedy. I don't know that I could even keep up on a bike. Kathy, you might be able to attest to that. I know you have followed him many a time. But a tremendous season. And I know for AJ, it was not quite the season we were hoping for. We had some sprained ankles and a bit of a concussion that we had to muddle through. But through it all, right, we went up to profile for our very modified Granite State race in 2 times. And that last one, the very damaged ankle, came in first place, which is really exciting. So for the girls, for our best contribution award, that is going to Anna. And for the girls, the coach's award is going to Britta. For the boys, the best contribution award is going to be Holly. And our coach's award is going to AJ. And that's it. I have since the fall missed these guys terribly. They are, like I said, they're a great crew. I would absolutely take them anywhere. I'm sad to be losing AJ next year. That it's going to be felt, and I think a lot of these guys will tell you, right? He was right there. He was right there with me from the very beginning, the roots of it all, and he was a really big part of why these guys and everyone else has joined, which speaks volumes. So thank you guys all. Congratulations.
Coach and AD, Aaron Louts, for all your hard work and hours of time of scheduling and phone calls to ensure we have everything we need to complete our tasks. We certainly couldn't have done it without you, and I can't tell you how many times he's called me or I stop by his office. He's always there. He does an incredible job for us. They're not here. I'd like to give a shout out to Coach Guy and Green McGrath for the middle school. They helped out with our pitching staff this year on the overlapping practices. Really made it. It's indoors. When you first started out the season, it's really tough, and they always work with us well. Special thanks to this young man behind me, Coach Pickering. Time, effort, input will not be overstated. How you kept us moving in the right direction. Your text, phone calls, and over caring, well-being, well beyond game time and practice time. Wasn't just X's and O's. You can't express it enough. What a great. So, and lastly, I'd like to thank my family, and particularly my son Jack. I wasn't going to coach this year. It was supposed to be all about him since the girls have grown up. But I want to thank you, Jack, and I appreciate you. It was a tough season, some wins and losses. They worked hard, as all things you know. They worked working hard at. Continue to work hard, and don't remember, you can have fun when you work hard. Don't forget that. That's one of the ones. It was tough this year, with everything we went through with COVID, and I think a lot of the time we were just happy to be outside playing. And I think sometimes it showed. I think Vic and I talked a little bit about their mental health is important as anything this year. And we want to make sure that they were enjoying the game, and it wasn't just about wins and losses, that we're just up there having some fun. I think we did this. I could go down the line with each one of these girls, but I'm not going to do that because I will really get through it. Know that I love each and every one of you for their coaching knowledge. Which brings us to our awards tonight. I'm going to start off with the Coaches Award. Olivia, if you just step forward so we can talk about you a little bit and be very almost every single position, I believe, except for catcher. She certainly practiced at every position. And having a player with that kind of versatility, I think, is what an asset it is. I know she didn't want to play a lot of these positions, but whenever we asked her to step up, she did it, and she did it as good as, if not better, than people who normally play that position. For that, I thank you very much. She didn't really want to pitch this year, I know that, but we were in a tough spot one time. Number one pitcher couldn't make it to the game, and she came right up to me and said, if you need me, I'm here for you. And Coach came after me. Thank you very much. Sid, you So it started off, Sid was texting me a message way before the season was to begin. And the message is, Coach, the team's ready, let's get going. It was early. I mean, it was probably on the way home from our last meeting with Aaron. And I'm surprised she didn't call Coach Dave and have him out there shoveling already. But Sid is definitely the leader of our team. More often than not, she was the best player on either side when we were playing. She was elected to the All-State team, Grand State team. She batted over 600 rather than striking out 4 times this year. She worked with our pitching staff, which is really hard as a catcher, as you know. She worked really, really hard. I can't stress that enough. She was always the first to practice, last to leave, and always had a team-first mentality. Contributions go way beyond any other stats that I could read off. I can't speak highly enough for the show. She's an incredible leader, student, and athlete, and it's an honor to she is the best
everyone come on down. We got a lot of one-liners, that's for sure. Before I talk about the team, I just want to talk about these gentlemen up here. They're awesome. They're good people and great coaches. It was 4 years ago. I met them at Black Mountain Burger, and I said, "Hey, I want to get back into coaching at varsity level." And I thank you for that opportunity. Really, they're amazing coaches. The kids love you, and you love baseball. And our success this season has a lot to do with your hard work. Thank you so much. Special recognition goes to Coach Dave. Coach Dave, step forward. When Taylor was 14, his son, who's now, how old is Taylor? He's now 14. 30-something. We coached Dave Ruth together. And he's stuck with the Lin-Wood baseball program for over 20 years. And I just wanted to say thank you for your hard work, determination, and this whole team. I love you. Okay, the varsity baseball team, come on over here. I'll call you by name. Zach Baumgartner, Zach Janess, Silas Whedon, Max LeBlanc, Jordan Stevens, Jacob Morris, Dylan Russell, Charles Lux, John Perry, Jack Chase, JJ Goodhoop, Jake Avery, Cam Manning, Brady Morris, and Kyle Goodhoop. As Mr. Preveno said, we're coming off a pretty good playoff victory yesterday, and we're feeling pretty good. We're looking forward to our playoff game tomorrow. It's home. It's at 1:30. If you can't make it and you're out of town, it is being broadcast by NSN, and check it out. And hopefully we'll be playing some good baseball, keep it rolling, like the coaches. I was talking at a preseason meeting, our first practice. We were right over there in that corner. And I decided that this year I was going to put a little bit more pressure or ask the seniors what they wanted. We're lucky to be playing. And, what a year it's been for sure. But we made it through, and we got to play 2 seasons, and we didn't want to be the season that didn't play. And I wanted them to, they know how competitive I am, and, I want to win, definitely. But I also want them to have fun, and especially the seniors remember their last year. And they stepped up, and it doesn't always happen, but they did, or they have so far, and I hope they can continue. So could I get all the seniors just to step forward? I've never actually said in the first practice that, I love you guys, but I did that day. And I still do, so that's good. Like Butch had said, we had some transportation issues, and so we had to take some kids up in vans, cars, whichever. And it was one of those things. It was nice to get to know some kids and talking and everything. And a couple of them said, hey, I hope you swing by, 20 years and we can talk baseball. That'd be a lot of fun, and those are the memories that we'll remember. Not always the scores, but the experience. And I hope that happens. Especially for the senior class. What a special group. Thank you. Yes, know, you feel like seniors to me. I've coached you quite a while as well, and you know, I'm gonna miss you. And let's keep it going. Keep it going. The sophomore and freshman class, they're legit. And you know, Cam Manning stepping up, being the catcher this year. Great stuff. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. Good leadership. We needed you, definitely. There was a laser show you put on yesterday. Yeah, I asked him to go to town hall and register. I just want to share some stats. And I'm not always a stat guy, but when they're good, they're nice to share. We had 5 different people hit home runs. Could they step forward? 5 different people. As a team, we've scored 198 runs, over 131 hits, 14-2 so far. 2 years ago, I think we only had 1 hitter over 300. Coach K took on the hitting. We hit more this year than we ever have, and this year we have 6 people hitting over 300, and 1 currently over 400. And that's really impressive. So good stuff, and Coach K, nice work in the cage. I'll get to some of the pitching stats a little bit later. Yeah, you know, I want to keep this going as long as we can. I really don't want it to end. I'm just having so much fun and enjoying this group, and you know, it's not going to be easy. We'll, you know, like I say, we'll probably make a mistake or two. It's kind of how we'll handle it, though. And you can learn a lot from sports and how you bounce back from things. So we've definitely had some moments where we could have, you know, put our head down and walked away. But instead, we've shown a lot of character and come back. So you know, let's have a good game tomorrow and keep it going. We had 4 people make All-State, and they are second team All-State. We had John Parrott and Jacob Morris. And first team All-State, Charlie Laux and Jordan Stevens. Charlie is the one hitting over 400 right now with over 23 RBIs. And Jordan was Player of the Year for All-State as well as Grant State. Also Granite State All-Conference as well. So I haven't always had 4 people make it. So that's quite an honor to have that many people recognized. There could have been more as well. But congratulations and excellent job. And I have a couple of awards. The Coach's Award, please. You know, baseball is hard to give out these awards because they want them in like 2/3 of the way through your season, so a lot can change. But this one was pretty easy because he had all the attributes of somebody that we would want to give a Coach's Award to. You know, hardworking, polite, courteous, every practice. Thank you, Coach. You know, what can I do to get better? You know, he took on a position that he hadn't played a lot over the years at second base, and you know, he just worked hard, and he's such a good kid, and he's an incredible athlete, and you know, he's a baseball player. He's a baseball player now. Add to the list of many of the things you can do, Silas. But man, you are the type of kid that every coach wants to have on their team. And thank you for being a great teammate, a great player, and you know, let's keep those positive vibes going. Coach, best contribution was really easy. If you went to the game last night, he threw a no-hitter. His second playoff game in a row that he's thrown a no-hitter. He's not only an amazing pitcher, he's going on to pitch at Plymouth State next year. He's a good kid, really good kid. And, you know, it was in middle school, we were talking, and, you know, and Coach John, remember, that's like, you know, what type of leader do you want to be? And at the time, it was, hey, I'm not carrying equipment. Not that he talked like that, but that was funny. But really, set, you know, lead by example. Lead by example. And then, you know, freshman year, oh, maybe it will, you know. And then sophomore, he's like, yeah, okay, you're captain. Boom, you're captain. The only captain. The only captain in sophomore year, the only captain this year. And not because he's an amazing pitcher, but because he's a really good teammate as well. And, you know, he's worked hard. He's the last one to lead practice. The last one to lead practice every day. He takes care of so many other people outside of baseball, you know, and he also takes care of the team as well. And, you know, he pitched no-hitter, had a couple of huge hits, but also, you know, was the one carrying the heavy cooler out or making sure everything was put away. And those are things that will go beyond just on the baseball field. And, you know, I do want to share some stats about Jordan. You know, he did have his 200th strikeout this year, earlier on this year. He's pitched 42.1 innings. He has struck out 85 in 42 innings. He has an earned run average of .331. He appeared in 9 games as a pitcher and only gave up 2 earned runs and only 6 runs total. And only gave up 10 hits over 42 innings. That's incredible. Incredible. He also hit .356, you know, had 22 RBIs, right now hitting cleanup, and, you know, just, he's special. Thank you.
before I get started, go off script a little bit. So I've been coaching here since, I can tell everybody how old I am, 1998. Fortunately, Mr. Locke's been coaching longer, so he's older than I am. In all that time, I've been coming to baseball games for, as long as I can remember. Been a big supporter of Aaron. He's been my friend for 20 plus years. And he stands up here and he gives out all these awards. He talks about Jordan and his great achievement as Player of the Year. But what he forgot to mention was that this year, Mr. Laux was Division IV Coach of the Year. Before we came here tonight, Shannon asked me if I was going to cry. I said I think I can make it through it. I almost didn't pull through butches, especially talking about Jack and Aaron, but we're going to see what happens here. I was going to wing it tonight, but it is best to go with prepared remarks and see if I can get through it. So being the super organized person I am, when I call the ladies forward, I want to put seniors and juniors on this side in front of the tables, seniors closest to the podium, underclassmen over there. So, without further ado, can I get the Lin-Wood girls varsity soccer family to come up? Justine Sauls, Abhishek Corey, Madison Heights, Shannon Drappa, Barrett Duguay, Seven Fitzgerald, Sienna Mack, Brianna Palayo, Sydney Pickering, Ivory Bailey, Haley Otis, J.C. Avery, Julian Clark, Olivia Drive. Okay. I think they're in order of class there. So a week or so after the season ended, I was reading about our playoff games in the paper. And that's when I saw our win-loss record for the first time. I honestly had no idea what it was or how few games we won. All I knew was that we were fortunate to play a complete season and that we won the first playoff home game we've hosted in at least 15 years. Now, any self-respecting athlete wants to compete and goes out there to win, but the bigger picture of high school sports is about the journey. And that was truly the case, as all these girls wanted to do was to have a bit of normalcy restored in their lives. And being able to go to practice every day, ride the bus to away games, and test themselves against other teenagers for 80 minutes provided that. The journey of this particular season was one that I've been looking forward to, even before the changes of the pandemic. I was really excited to coach this group of girls who have an amazing sense of camaraderie. They enjoy being around each other, and there's seriously a family vibe to this group. The restrictions and uncertainty we faced threatened to challenge that, but when these girls were on the soccer field together, life felt normal again. Most importantly, they grew to care for each other as a family. That may seem a bit cliche, but that is something I pressed upon my boys' teams for the 15 years I coached, and we often achieved it. But I think more than any other girls' team I coached, this group got what that really means. This season saw many of our juniors and sophomores step into new roles, both positionally and as leaders, which shaped our team's success. Sid and Seven both made All-State, as they were the glue to help make the back end of our team strong. We were both served by two impactful freshmen, as well as the addition of two 8th graders who meshed seamlessly into our group, both in ability and personality. But as is often the case, it is the seniors that set the tone. This group of seniors knows how to strike the perfect balance between hard work and having fun. It's a group that I've been around for a very long time, pretty much their whole lives. J.C. Avery. So, with the exception of 6th grade, I have coached JC in sport every year since 3rd grade. And amazingly, she's kept coming back. And I'm glad she did. JC's had the misfortune of dealing with injuries over the course of her high school career, and that might have contributed to her stop playing other sports, but soccer has remained the constant. This season, I didn't know from day to day if she'd be able to play or practice, but even if she couldn't, she would still come every single day. When she was able to get on the field, she showed flashes of that athletic prowess that helped her score in her first ever game as a freshman. There have been a lot of laughs from JC along the way, not all of them at times I thought were funny. Things will definitely be different without her. Thank you, JC. Ivory Bailey. Ivory had a great senior season as she was our leading scorer. I always knew she had the talent, and that was why I was bummed when she didn't play her sophomore year, and why I was thrilled when she came back for her junior year. The biggest difference I saw in her this season was that she poured everything she had out on the field. She worked her tail off when she was out there. She was one that you could tell was thankful to be having a season, and she made the most of it. Now, Ivory will tell you that she and I didn't always see eye to eye. Those are her words. But time has brought a mutual appreciation. I'm glad to have coached her these past 2 years, and she might even say she was glad to have had me as a coach. Thank you, Ivory. Haley Otis. Don't cry. If you've seen Haley play, you've likely seen a range of emotions. You could have watched her play for just 5 minutes and possibly seen all of them. Sometimes her emotions overwhelm her in the heat of competition, and she's extremely hard on herself. But when discussing being a captain with her before the season, I told her that that emotion was her best attribute. It shows that she cares. Haley cares about how she does, she cares about how the team does, and she cares about her teammates. There'll never be another Haley Lewis, and I feel lucky to have coached her. Thanks, Haley. Choosing a player for best contribution is often a challenge. From the outside looking in, it probably would seem easy. You pick your most talented player or your statistical leader. For me, it usually comes down to a player whose role has had a great impact on the rest of the team. Whether that be a great goal scorer, or more likely, someone who has stepped into a role that has made things easier for the players around her. The margins for deciding on one person over others are razor thin. And it proved more challenging this year with less games and a shorter preseason. And adding the fact that this group was so team-oriented, it was nearly impossible. This year was so different. So, I decided to do things differently. I'll not be giving out the best contribution award. Instead, I'm putting a bit more emphasis on the award that I've always felt carried a little bit more weight for me, and that's the Coach's Award. There's never been a recommended criteria for choosing this award, and over the past 2 decades, I've given out Coach's Awards for a variety of reasons. It's often boiled down to 1 of 3 different criteria, and all those will be represented tonight. The first type of player is the one who is the consummate teammate and leads in a variety of ways. She's extremely coachable. This young lady plays a position that is squarely in the spotlight, where your failures are much more noticeable than your successes. She takes those failures personally, but it's the mental strength to quickly push on and refocus. I've been lucky enough to coach her in a couple of sports over the past 6 years, and one thing about her has stayed consistent. She's just a great kid who's willing to do whatever the team needs while remaining as positive as one can expect a teenage athlete to be. This year, she was named captain of the team. There's no question that she leads by example on and off the field, but what stands out to me the most is her empathy and kindness. She's welcoming and encouraging to the younger players, always doing the little things that make a team. There are very few athletes that I have coached that deserve to wear the captain's armband more than Seven Fitzgerald. And she's truly The second type of player it's the one who's always showing improvement and always appreciates the moments on the field. This young lady joined the team in her sophomore year, and I don't think she played soccer in maybe 8 years. It was apparent right away that whatever she lacked in soccer ability and knowledge, she was going to make up for it in sheer outright hustle. She only knew one speed, and that was as fast as she could go. And this led to a few opponents getting knocked off their feet from time to time, but they always got a heartfelt, sorry. Sorry was a common word for her. Often when I would give her, mid-game instruction, she would often reply, okay, sorry, as she chased the game going 100 miles per hour. As she became more comfortable within the game these past few years, she became more of a soccer player. She knew what she was doing out there and was an important contributor. And I think she actually developed a second speed. She now has as fast as possible and a little slower than that. I've always appreciated Julian's hustle, dedication, and coachability, as she has always been willing to learn. And it's very fitting that Julian Clark gets my coach's award. The third type of player. If you've been to enough of these through the years, you've heard me use the phrase, a kid I wish I could coach forever, and I've given this award. That phrase has never rung truer than with this young woman. In a way, I have been coaching her forever. 3rd grade soccer, 3rd and 4th grade basketball, 5th grade soccer, 7th and 8th grade basketball, 2 years of varsity basketball, and 4 years of varsity soccer. Maybe a little coaching in the driveway and around the dinner table. Olivia is the athlete she is because of one person, Olivia. I want to relate a story from her first year of middle school soccer that kind of sums up her journey. After my varsity practice, I drove up to Profile and made it to her game as the second half was about to start. A Profile parent who I had recently become friends with came over to say hi and said, "Let me guess which one is your daughter. The tall blonde in the middle, she's a really good player." I had to correct him that was Bella Boyd. And Olivia was the blonde 6th grader on the bench. You see, oftentimes, we know who the best athletes are going to be, as they stand out as dominant players when they are younger. I could have told you a decade ago, Charlie was going to be an unbeatable ski racer. I knew that Jacob was going to have a major impact in every sport he played. And anyone who saw Jordan pitch when he was younger would not be surprised at what they saw him do yesterday, or most days that he takes them out. But there are athletes who take a different path and come into their own later, and Olivia epitomizes that. If you saw her on the basketball court as a 6th grader, you would not have noticed her. And you would not have expected her to be a 2-time All-State selection, which I believe is the only one in school history, who was only denied 1,000 career points by a pandemic. If you saw her play middle school soccer, you may have thought, she'll make a nice role player in high school. Not the girl who was named All-State and Granite State Conference both as a junior and as a senior. Even though she had her crazy, scary dad as a coach, she became the player she is because she made the choice to become that player. However, I will take some credit for handing down my natural athletic ability, but everything else is on her. Olivia gives everything she has in athletic contests, and has turned into a great leader over the past 2 years. She may not fit into the cookie-cutter box of what some may expect from a leader. She's not the outspoken type. But I imagine that her teammates will tell you that they have looked to her as an example of how to compete and how to be a good teammate. I've had a lot of proud coach dad moments these past several years, but I'm most proud of the fact that she earned and deserved every accolade that my fellow coaches bestowed upon her. And Olivia Drapo is 100% earned my coach's award. So yeah, I made it. If you know our family at all, like you rank our 5 family members, the least likely to cry on anything is Olivia. So I feel pretty proud of myself right now. One other thing I want to touch on real quick, not to talk about my daughter too much. When we go to the three-sport athlete award that was given out at the beginning, I think that's an incredible honor for her and for her classmates. For anybody who makes that commitment 3 or 4 years to 3 sport seasons, it's not the easiest thing to do. And one of the things I realized as Olivia's career wrapped up is in 3 years of high school sport, 4 years of high school sports, there's been 183 games, and she's played in every single one of them. And it takes a lot of luck sometimes to stay on the right side of injuries and illness. And we may have had to get her a COVID test to participate in the playoff game this year. But I think it's a great example of for younger players to look to of what you can do as well. And all abilities aside, whatever she can do on the court or basketball court, there's 3 abilities that she has shown in those 4 years that anybody can work on. Availability, reliability, dependability. And it's amazing and it's been fun to watch. Thanks. I'm not done. I should have warned everybody, if you haven't been here before, whoever put me and Aaron back to back, that this would have been the long part of the program. There should have been a mass break scheduled in there somewhere, but I'm going to wrap it up. As I look forward to next season, I'm excited at the prospects of things gravitating more towards the normal, the old normal. A full 16-game schedule where the results actually matter, as we'll have to earn our way into the playoffs. We have a great group coming back and a large number of incoming freshmen. The thing that I hope won't change is this team's ability to enjoy the journey. And hopefully we can fill it with a few more memories and lasting emotions, like the ones everyone felt when Abhishek put the ball in the back of the net against Lisbon in overtime. These girls deserve more of those moments, and I'm excited to see what our family can achieve. Thank you.
So I'd like to thank the Booster Club for putting this event on. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank all of the administration, Mr. Privenow. We're going to miss our AD. He's been inspiring as an AD through this whole coronavirus pandemic craziness. And I want to thank all the parents for being patient through the season, through all these different sports. And I want to thank all the athletes for showing up tonight and, being committed to your teams, being committed to your families, your schooling, your coaches. It's been a pretty wild year for all of us. You guys are awesome. So I also want to thank Coach Nathan. He's the best assistant coach I could ever ask for. He's a better coach than I am, and he's patient with me, so that's fantastic. I'd like to also thank, and they're not here tonight, not very represented, but the middle school soccer programs that kind of help feed these recognize things, so I want to make sure if you see them on the street, if you know the coaches, say, hey, thanks for donating, committing your time to these kids, and bringing them up through and passing them on to our high school coaches and the staff in there, and giving them some new opportunities. And just want to make that aware. If we could get the boys to come on down and join us, we could do that at the beginning, but we'll see them now. I want to say it's been such an honor coaching these guys. I was kind of welcomed into this community with this senior class as 8th graders. And so I've gotten to coach them for 5 years, but I'm going to go through the list of names. We've got Brady Morris, Cohen Supple, Tucker Bailey, Addison Donati, Asher Donati, AJ Vecchione, Ethan Wargo. Did I say that right? Ethan Wargo, Jack Chase, Andrew Wilson, Moise Awan, Dylan Majalewski, Max LeBlanc, Jake Morris, Cam Claremont, John Perry, Jordan Stevens, Silas Whedon, Charlie Laux, Jake Avery, Zach Janess, Dylan Russell, and Chris Boris. And that's your senior, or not your senior, that's your boys varsity soccer at Lin-Wood. I had a lot written, but I'm going to keep this super brief because I'm not comfortable in front of the microphone people. But it has been a very special season. We kind of had like a mission statement at the beginning of the season, Coach Nathan and I kind of went through that beginning of the season with these guys, like going over, you know, with the whole coronavirus thing, I didn't want to have to bring it up much, but these sports gave these kids like an outlet to like be normal, have some normalcy, and have some brotherhood together, and I think that was pretty incredible. And we wanted to make sure that they worked hard, they had respect for each other and their teammates first and foremost, to work on patience with each other, to be disciplined athletes physically and academically, to be humble winners and humble losers, and just overall keep like a good, positive, and encouraging environment and attitude where it's safe and we could just be real when we need to be real with each other, and listen when we need to listen to each other, and help build each other up. And I think seeing what these kids have had to deal with for the past year, and they get all those marks on the spot. And congratulations to them. I also want to just thank all the underclassmen. Obviously, we had like 22 boys on the roster, which was incredible because when we scrimmaged at practice time, we had 2 full teams. So that was fantastic. But all the underclassmen, and because we had such a huge roster, and it is, and you know, and like Coach Love said, you know, we are competitive. We are here to win, and it's the next level. High school is the next level. So a lot of kids that just didn't get many opportunities to play. I do want to thank you so much for your patience with us as coaching and the other players on your team, and that your roles on the team were highly needed and super awesome, and your attitudes about not necessarily getting much playing time. Thank you for being patient with me and Coach Nathan. But seniors, I've been coaching some of you guys for about 13 years. I think there's a picture in the back hallway over there, actually with Aaron and who else was it as a coach, and we were little rec league players, and you guys were like 5 years old, some of you. So I've been your coach for 13 years. Other of you, I've been your coach for 7 years, and then some of you guys come on later. I've never coached you before because I've kind of followed the ranks up with the senior class, which has been an incredible experience, and thank you very much for that. So I'm going to talk briefly about a couple of my seniors who follow my seniors because Steve Ford and Coach Nathan as well. I just want to, in parting, thank you very much. It's been an incredible ride, incredible experience. Jordan, I'm going to start with you. I just want to let you know you don't need to protect your younger brother anymore. I think he's taller. I think he's taller and stronger and tougher than I am at this point. And I think you've given him enough guidance and wisdom and to follow in your footsteps. I think he's going to be fine. I look forward to seeing you be throwing the ball later this season and tomorrow. I think I'm so stoked for you guys and pumped. And if you do go to Plymouth, I hope to catch a couple games of you on the field over there. And continue to, the new teams that you get on in life, those leadership roles and opportunities that you get, you're going to fit in them awesome. And you're going to be a great contribution to anything you ever get on there. Thank you very much. Right there. Max, he's been awesome. Yeah, I always love Max's attitude. He's literally been one of the hardest workers I've ever coached. During practices and during games, no matter whatever attitude or he's dealing with in life or scoring or anything, he's gonna give you 100% at practice and 100% on the field. And that's not something you can coach. That's just like something in that kid that he's got it. And he's the best hype man I think I've ever coached as well on the team. And never lose this. Always keep that fighting spirit. And that's encouraging for coaches and encouraging for the players on your team. So thank you very much, man. Zach. Oh, he's over there. So they're lined up on the correct side. So Zach and I got the same thing. I mean, I've been coaching him from middle school all the way up through high school. We've had an on-off relationship. Luckily, most days it's been a pretty on relationship. It's been mostly love, and then sometimes when there's some love lacking. But he's always been such a hard worker on the field. He's always stepped up when he needed to step up and played his heart out, which I can't ask for any more of that. But I always know it was always for love, and that love always conquers in the end, okay? All right, Dylan, we go way back too. So I was coaching you, like with Sauce and some of these other guys back in the rec program. So I've been coaching you probably close to 13 years. We go way back. Dylan's been an awesome coach on the field. He's always been quietly aggressive. So he's always been honest with me from forthright when he has an issue, which has been fantastic. But he's always been like quietly aggressive. You get him on the field and he gets out there and he just gets the job done. And then he comes to me and he up until this year he'd be like, Coach, I feel like I'm doing nothing. You gotta take me out. And I said, no, I'm not gonna take you out, and I'll just keep you. And when I kept you in, you always pulled through. You always got the job done. And then this year you finally you stopped saying that. You finally were like, Coach, I want to go back in. When I would take you, I have to give you a break and get someone else some playing time, which has been awesome. And he's just always battled. He's just always battled out there, which is fantastic in my whole back line. And I just want to make sure what I had written out for you. Yeah, I was going to say something about your fantastic hair, but I'm going to leave that out. But the one thing I do want to let you know is congratulations, you finally were able to elevate me in a straight line. I have Jake as well. Yeah, I got AJ. So AJ, he's been a late addition to this team, but a very welcome one. He's just his attitude, and anyone that knows AJ is just super encouraging, super good, cool kid that's just so chill. He's got to be the calmest person I know, like on 30 years old. and that's like Charlie Lux has been trying to convince me that he has for like the past 4 years. You got nothing on him. He's I wish we had him earlier. It's been a joy to coach you. You finally, towards the end of the season, after enough encouragement, started to rub shoulders with other players on their other teams. It was a slow start, but then as soon as you did that, came and broke out of that shell. It was good to see you. So fantastic. And thank you very much for joining us in our program at the end of the season. Thank you. All right. I'm going to start with Silas. So, Silas, man, we've been super close over the years, and it's been so cool. And really, these four right here, like I remember them so small, and I was only here when they were in 8th grade. To see how much you guys have grown, except for Silas. Silas, I knew when I came here that what you lacked in size, you made up for in soccer IQ. And your skill with the ball has progressed so much. And Blair and I relied so heavily on you in the midfield, at that center midfield, that quarterback position. You did exceptionally well. It's been such a blessing to have you on the team, and as a leader with all these guys, and it's not a surprise that you were coaches award with the baseball team. So, yeah, great job. It was great having you. Charlie, man, I've seen you blossom into such an exciting player to watch. Honestly, if I had it my way, I think you were the best at sweeper. But I know you like center defensive mid. Man, the way you won every header in the back, and it was so cool to get to coach you and see the growth that you had as a player and distributing the ball well. One thing I always liked as a defender was to play the ball long, and you certainly loved to kick it really far, which was great. But Charlie, same thing. Like you guys, you and Silas and Jake, you guys exemplified leadership. What it meant we had a hard time figuring out who to give the coaches award, just as a leader on and off the field. And Charlie, you can't really be around Charlie without having a smile on your face for at least a little bit of the time. So it's been a blast having you, and I am super excited to see whatever you're doing next. I hope it has to do with ski racing, but keep playing soccer as well. Jake, I feel like I'm saying almost the same thing for all three of you guys. Jake, you can run so fast in a straight line. It is amazing. He played right wing for us this year, and it was exciting. He was actually we had a couple of guys. One thing that was unique this year was that we had a lot of players who all contributed. And it wasn't really lopsided. And he was one of our tied for our leading scorers with 4 goals this year. But playing that right wing, I could always count on you getting up and down and it seemed like you never ran out of gas. You get injured at times, but you would never run out of gas. And I just love the work effort that you always put into it. So Jake, it was such an honor to coach you these last 5 years, and keep at it. I know you're ski racing in college, which is rad, so make sure to cheer him on ski racing. Finally, Chris Boris. So I was a goalkeeper. I grew up as a goalkeeper. That was always what I did, and man, I see so much of me in you. I was always discounted, and I just worked my tail off, and that was what I've always seen in you. Like, you worked so hard throughout the last 5 years as I've coached you. I put him through absolutely ridiculous drills. If you would see them from some of the ones that I grew up doing, you probably had countless bruises on your hips and scrapes on your elbows. That's the life of a goalkeeper in soccer, and you always came back, and you always worked hard. And these last 2 years, as you've really set the tone for the goalkeepers on our team. And boy, I don't know what we're going to do next year without you. But I want to tell you this: don't quit. Keep playing. Wherever you end up, play. And just with the work effort, the work. Yes, yeah. You can continue to play, and it was such an honor to coach you. So, anyways, yeah, thank you. the Best Contributor Award, but I just talked about Chris, and Chris, you can come back up because you are the top contributor, the best contributor. And the Coaches Award, I don't know, maybe Blair's going to say something.
I think you actually covered it all. Coaches Awards, again, it's a player that demonstrates leadership qualities, character, everything that you want to see in a player. A player that's coachable, a player that has a good attitude, a player that's just not going to give up on his team. And this year's Coaches Award goes to Jacob Morris. Gentlemen, if you could gather around, I guess, in front of this podium and get some Jake Ward also got first conference Granite State for soccer.
Just want to say one thing, Coach Whedon, I've seen you do karaoke. You are definitely not afraid to be in front of a microphone or a computer. Boys varsity basketball. Jay Casey, Moses Long. Thank you. Jack Chase, Cameron Claremont, Kyle Goodboo, JJ Goodboo, Maximilian LeBlanc, Cam Manning, Brady Morris, John Perry, Blake Tower, AJ Vecchione, Liam Manning, and Matteo Vecchione. First, it's so great to be on the home court tonight and to be in front of all of you. I know I speak for the team when I say that we missed you guys this year, so it's nice to be back. Standing before you guys tonight is a group of athletes who 3 seasons ago had a record of 1-17. In our first season together, we experienced some growing pains and some ups and downs, but we were able to finish with a 9-9 record and qualify for the playoffs. We boarded a bus and headed down to Dover to take on the 5th-ranked Portsmouth Christian Eagles and Player of the Year Bryson Lund. Not many people gave these kids a shot in that game, but they were outstanding and they left everything on the court. They came up just a little bit short, down 2 with the ball in our hand in the final seconds and a chance to pull off the upset. This season, these boys finished with a record of 7-4, including a win over Groveton on their home court, and that was awesome. This record in a normal season would have put them in a position to host a home playoff game, a goal that they had set as a team. Instead, we went on the road and lost to the eventual state champion Woodsville, and that's nothing to be ashamed of. The growth of this team is not by accident. This group before you works incredibly hard. And they've learned what it means to be a teammate. and the success that's generated and sustained when you embrace a team approach. They truly play the game for each other. From the very beginning, Coach Pickering and I set the following principles that were required of anybody that wanted to be part of this team. Number one, be a good son. Number two, be a good student. Number three, be a good teammate. Number four, be respectful. As part of this team, you not only represent yourself, you represent your teammates, you represent your coaches, your school, and your community. This team is bigger than you. And number five, always play with pride. And these boys have done a tremendous job growing in that direction. In order for any of these principles to become the foundation of who we are as a team today, it required buy-in and leadership from the older players. Coach Pickering and I were incredibly fortunate to have AJ, Blake, and Max as they exemplify all of the principles above. They work hard in the classroom, in the community, and on the court. Coach Pickering, want to thank the three of you, as this turnaround in the program, it's not possible without you. You're incredibly young men, so thank you. I'd also like to recognize Cameron Claremont for being named to the All-State Honorable Mention Team for the second year in a row. Both years, Cam was the youngest player in the state on that list, so that's an incredible accomplishment. And as sad as Coach Pickering and I are to see some of you go, the kids that are remaining behind have a really bright future, and we're excited about that. So before the awards, I just want to thank Coach Pickering for your dedication to the team and all that hard work. For occasionally supplying Jolly Ranchers to the bench. And just, having a wicked good time. Coach's Award. This young man works incredibly hard, whether it's practice or a game. He participates in all basketball activities, whether they are mandatory or not. Summer ball, weight room, you name it, he's there. In 2 years, I do not believe he's missed a single practice. This season, he became a starter and gave his team a tremendous effort on the defensive end. So much so that he earned the nickname of the Eraser for his ability to block shots. Ladies and gentlemen, the Eraser, Blake Todd. Best contribution. One of the hardest working and competitive athletes I've ever been around. He never let anybody off the hook. Whether it was an opponent or a teammate in practice, this kid loves to compete. But what I love most about this young man is he's always willing to do the dirty work. And he's always asking to defend the biggest, most physical player on the opposing team. Because he wanted it. And he's not doing that for himself. He wants his teammates to know that he has their back. He embodies everything a player is looking for, everything a coach is looking for in a player. He works hard, he's coachable, he's competitive, and he's respectful. Ladies and gentlemen, Maximilian. And just lastly, I'd like to thank Mr. Pribenow and the administration and Mr. Laus for for supporting athletics this year for all the kids. So thank you guys.
Good evening, all. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dana Gagnon, or for those of you who do know me, Dana Gagnon. Former Lin-Wood alumnus. Class of 1990, not 1890. My girls think I'm old, so I'd like to call them all up, please. Ivory Bailey, Kate Claremont, Ellie Claremont, Olivia Drapo, Ray Drapo, Anna Drapo, Seth Fitzgerald, Margaret Kennedy, Aaron Lyons, Leslie Snyder. My agent wrote my contract tonight, and he didn't see this in the contract of public speaking, so Aaron took a call from my agent later. We got to work on the salary. I do want to thank Mr. Louts and the Lin-Wood school system for giving me the opportunity to get back to the old stomping grounds. I'd like to thank the parents. I know it's basketball can be a long season. You get 2-hour practices, especially when you get those 7 to 9 practices. And for those of you parents who have to shuttle kids around, I know 9 o'clock is kind of late. If it wasn't for basketball, I'd be sleeping myself. I'd like to thank the coach, assistant coach, Coach Brady, with the MP here today. She was very beneficial to the team and for my psyche and well-being. I remember showing up to practice the first day. It's dark out. All the girls were lined up in front of the building. I see this tall. It was coach. Finally, I'd like to thank these 10 young ladies right here. Maybe my first high school coaching experience, memorable, yet interesting, to say the least. When I accepted the position, I didn't know what to expect. I got a teenage daughter at home. I buy a long kind of bread or the seeds in the watermelon. It's like the world's coming to an end, So multiply this times 10. But you know what? Things are just the opposite. These young ladies, well-mannered, polite, respectful. At least at practice they were. I'm not seeing what happened when I'm home. They probably went home and coach is stupid. Blah, blah, blah. We had some speed bumps along the way. Not gonna lie to you, but nothing to lose sleep over. There'd be some practices where I wasn't quite sure if we were playing basketball. So I talked to Coach Bree afterwards, or actually, I would bring Ray to Coach Bree, and she'd just sit there and go, yes. And we'd sit there and laugh about it afterwards. And I realized they're kids. They're young kids. They're good kids, They're having fun. So, again, parents, good job raising your kids. It's a young team. It's 10 girls, young team. 2 seniors, 2 juniors, a sophomore, 2 freshmen, 3 8th graders. And also for, vertically challenged, again, we're always the shortest team on the court. But you know what? I think they hustled the most of any team we played. We held our own against most teams. Woodstock was a different story. They had 5 girls who were all seniors. Playing against 8th graders. Kate, Kylie, and Bryn, 8th graders. They go out there. They weren't nervous at all. It's like they've been out there before. I was impressed personally. All in all, Coach and I thought pretty good season. Our record didn't indicate it, 3-7. I mean, that's nothing to be to write home about, but you know what? It was with all that's going on in the world, the pandemic. Thankfully, we all stayed healthy, coaches stayed healthy. And we knew it was going to be a tough season going in. New coaches, new plays, new style of play, etc. Most things in life, there's learning curves. And with the pandemic, no pre-season scrimmages. We had a 10-game season to get ready for playoffs. And if you guys, whoever watched our games from day 1 to the playoffs, would have to admit that the playoff game was the best game they played all year. Even better than the 3 games that they won. That playoff game was phenomenal. Something clicked. They came together as a team. And that's what we were trying to coach them all season. There was no drama. There was no drama in practice. Everybody got along. There was none of this, I'm not passing the ball to Susie because she's going out to Virginia. There was none of that. It was great, I was tickled to death. I couldn't ask for a better group of girls. Next, we're going to lose our 2 seniors, which is going to be tough. But there's 8 other girls here with some talent. There's some talent standing in front of you. Coach and I are going to try to bring it out. And the other half of the equation is how much do they want to learn? How much do you want to excel? But it's there. It's there. You guys have the talent. We're looking forward to next year. I learned a lot from coaching these girls. And I hope that they took 1 or 2 things from Coach Bree and I as well over the course of the season. But I learned a tremendous amount from these young ladies. So, keep this short and sweet. Best contribution. Not one of my favorite awards to give out because we teach the team concept. But we do have one girl, young lady, who, she put the team on her back. When we need her to do something, she's like, give me the ball. Give me the ball. I'll go do it. And she kept her mouth shut. She's poised, on the court, cool, confident, never wanted to come out of the game. A couple of times I would take her out of the game on purpose, just to see what she would do. And she would give me these dirty looks, like, all right. Cool, that's what I like to see. Again, she's got some hard to bring home tonight, but she deserved it. Best contribution will be addressed. Coaches Award. When I looked at this young lady, I see a lot of myself in her. 100% hustle on the court, no matter what the score was. We could be down by 30. She'd still be up there. Good attitude. You weren't getting by her. If you got by her, she was going to foul you. Hard, but clean. She came to all the practices for the most part. When she didn't come to practice, she had the best excuses I ever heard. I think my favorite one was the time the one-legged chicken got locked in the car and she had to have the car towed to Nashville. I'm not making this stuff up. This is what she's telling me. I think she also had a side bet of 7 to see who could foul the most. Ivy Village. We got some talent coming up here next year. Obviously, these two young ladies right here will be a huge loss. We got Evelyn Marjorie, our captains for next year. Shanna is going to be a junior next year. So that's three good, solid upperclassmen. Factor in the three-headed monster and Kate, Kylie, and Destiny, along with Emma. Emma's one of the best shooters in the team, if not the best shooter. We just got to give her a little confidence. And then we have Brandon Diesel. Where are you, Brandon? Yeah! She's going to be an animal. She's out there banging around the seniors this year. Like, you go, girl. So, again, looking forward to next year. Let's hope we have a new normal season. Go Lumberjacks.
Oh my god. Was it?
Before I present the speech and awards, I just want to put on my AD hat and just say thank you to all the coaches, wonderful group of people, all sports, and I missed this. I missed hearing this about the kids, and we had a great season, and that's a lot to do with the coaches and a lot to do with the parents as well. Thanks for keeping it positive, and let's keep it rolling. Let's just say, go Lumberjacks. That's awesome. Now I'd like to call down the members of the high school ski team: Jillian Clark, Sydney Pickering, Britta Robinson, Addie Corey, McKenna, Bella Odette, Asher Donati, manager Chris Forrest, Charles Lux, John Montaluski, Jacob Morris, Cohen Supple, Ethan Margo, Silas Wheaton, and Andrew Wilson. I'd like to thank my assistant coaches, Kim Pinkham, Marcus Corey, Keegan Rice, and Jeff Claremont. I couldn't have done this without them. They're very helpful, very knowledgeable, and like with Dave Bowden in baseball, Kim has been with the program for almost 20 years, and she must enjoy it. I definitely enjoy having you around. You keep all the other coaches in line, and you do the things we don't do, which is a lot. Some days you remind us, and thank you, even Marcus, Jeff. They're just lots. They're fun to have around. They work hard and they love skiing, and that's contagious for everyone. It's great. I'd like to thank the Kane, John, everyone that's helped us out, Ryan, Loon Mountain, Loon Race team. There was only one event at Loon this year where they had people from outside the Loon community, and that was the Lin-Wood race. It's the only event that the best, biggest mountain in the state has is for us. And I went up to these other guys like, what'd you do? Well, you know, they really support the community. And it was on a Monday, and we're so appreciative of the support that Hank and Lin gives to us. We're also it's not on the list, and we can't have steam without it. And it's just down the road. It's so convenient and so nice. This year we drove into the races, you know, with style. We had this new trailer, you know, donated by East Branch and Seymour Electric, and we didn't go in the lodges, and so we had our little chairs. And it was just a great scene, tailgating out there. And for the season, we started later, so you know, I scheduled all these races Monday, Fridays, Thursdays, and I was like, they're going to get canceled. Nothing got canceled. We had the same amount of races as we did the previous year. Thank you, Mr. President, for supporting that. You know, we doubled up on the King Classic, and it was nice that everyone had the opportunity. It is such a short season. And the parents, you know, creating a culture that kids want to be around, and you know, having to support the races and the tuning nights, and just, you know, all the little things that make a big deal when you're involved in this sport, or any sport for that matter. Without the parents' support, we just couldn't do it at all. I'd like to first talk about the girls' ski team. This year for the girls' ski team, we didn't have as many high school girls, so we had to pull up a couple of middle schoolers. But those middle schoolers were way too fast, and they really contributed to our team as well. We finished third in the state meet at Mount Sunapee, and we're consistently in the top 3 amongst the teams throughout the state. They have a lot of fun. They ski fast. You know, they have this tradition now. You've seen in the slideshow. They write something on the state meet. And this year, I think it was Zoomies. Zoomies, I guess it's when dogs all run around, and that's kind of maybe how the season felt. But it's like, yeah, ski fast, or it's a great day to ski. But just, you know, dressed in plaid and having that team spirit. And they do all the work at the races during the year. The boys don't. Sorry. When it comes to the small things, it's all small things. Thank you for you know, just getting. I'm going to be in trouble now. But that's okay. You know, helping with bibs and just helping organize everything. We had an award we I think it's 3 years old now. It's called the Golden Gate Award, and 3 years old Gate. And it rewards consistency throughout the year. It's somebody that has, you know, finished a lot of races, finished up there, scored for the team. Because it's hard. Sometimes it's icy and steep and slick, and it just doesn't work out. And you got to go for it to score points. You got to ski fast. The person, and this doesn't happen very often. The person won the slalom for the girls, won the slalom, the giant slalom, as well as the overall. And was also nominated this year for Grand State All Conference. And this year's taking all these in the plaque over there. Sienna Mack. And for the Coach of the Year, or the Coaches Award this year, Jillian, step forward, please. Yeah, get right up here. I want to see. I've been coaching the Clark for a long time, and there's somebody in the Clark family, and you know, Jillian, you're amazing. You're an amazing person. You turn into a really good ski racer, and so fun to have on the team. You're always positive. You're always willing to tell me the truth. As far as, no, we don't want to do that, or please, you know, show up and do this, unlock the tank, or, you know. Things like that, where, you know, no, I gotta do this homework. Well, that's fine. I'll get up there, don't worry. You know, she was responsible and dependable. She was there for the team for so many years, and I'm really, really gonna miss you a lot. And I'm really glad I've been your coach. And thank you. I'm gonna do that. For the girls ski team, the best contribution goes to a skier that was our top finishers at most of the races this year. Our top finisher at the state meet. I realized I was taking this off earlier. Talk about here, I'll put it on when I come up. I did not get the Golden Gate for mask wearing right now, I'm sorry. She's a top finisher at the state meet in 6th place and in 10th place in the giant slalom. She won the race in the Kane Classic. And through most of the races this year, she was in the top 3. Beat a lot of really strong skiers from the other schools. When the surface was really icy and steep, she seemed to shine. And, you know, a real true competitor. She was also named to the Grand State All-Conference team, and she qualified for the Meet of Champions. This year's Best Contribution Award goes to Sydney Pickering. Okay, on to the boys. Yeah, we won this year. We won. We were supposed to win. We were the best team. We won every race by a lot, and I was so pumped. I don't usually say that, but man, it was fun to watch, and it's always good beating profile. That never gets old, and man, we beat them big this year. We had, you know, like I said, we won every race, and we had a Lin-Wood skier on the top step of the podium in every race. Every single boys race, there was somebody on the top step, and then quite often on either 2, 3, or even further down. It was, you know, just amazing. Amazing season that we crunched into 4 weeks. And, you know, we have some people that we need to recognize, you know, Andrew had an amazing season. Jeff Claremont thought he was a senior all year. I think he still does, but, it's a great thing. Owen, Dylan, Asher, and who else am I forgetting there that's not a senior? That's it. They're good skiers, and if you want to have a good ski team, you get good skiers, and they become good ski racers. And it's, you know, they're not only rip it up, they can snowboard, they can telemark some of them, they just love to ski, and so do I, and it's a good mix, and they just, it showed. All the years at the Cape pay off. You know, they're having fun, and they're on the snow, and it's been a while since we won. I was looking up there, 2013 for the boys. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially if you're supposed to win, and they did. So that, you know, some of the things like the state meet, you know, we've won all these races and everything, but they don't really count. Kind of like all the other sports this year, you go to playoffs and they don't count. Everyone makes it. And we get to the start gate, and you know, Andrew Wilson is there. And, yeah, we always say who. It's kind of funny with the radio, but oh, you can't race. Your basket. Andrew duct tapes, rolls of duct tape around the bottom of his basket. And his baskets look like he beat a birch tree for like 30 minutes. And, you know, I say that you can't use them. I'm like, okay. So then he has to run further down, and it's about, you know, when you go down the course, course, as far as the course conditions, things like that. Silas gets up there, nope, no basket. He hasn't had. When it kind of comes back to me as a coach, like I knew that all year, but oh, well, whatever, you know. And so they waited their turn. They got in. They already had their built-in excuse if they blew out. You know, and I was a little nervous, to tell you the truth, because it was a distraction, and they did an amazing job, and you know, they both just borrowed somebody else's poles, whatever, it's fine, and went down there and just slayed it. It was great. It was great. Silas was one of the 3 people that got recognized for the Grand State All Conference. So Silas. Ski mask pick up the business one right now. So Silas, come on down. You know, similar to in baseball, as far as you know, the awards, these 2 awards were pretty easy for me. When you had the best 2 skiers in the state for the last 2 years, 4 years, which, you know, I mean, Charlie and Jacob were just on a whole nother level. You know, the coaches were Jacob. I'd like you to step forward, please. You know, to the all-state, 3 different sports. That's amazing. I don't know, Tony, when was the last person that did that? He'll tell me about the end, okay, yeah. That's impressive, so I just want to recognize that right there. The fact that you're skiing in college is really, you know, that's really awesome, and I wish you the best of luck. I think that you've just, that next level, you're gonna get better and better, and I would love to come watch you race and see you ski. You know, so you were silver medalist this year at the state meet, and I think 4th in the GS. You know, skier of the year last year. Won 4 races this year. Finished every single run of every single race. So he's got 3 of these. Slalom champion, GS champion, and overall champion for finishing all those races. And you get the Golden Gate Award, which is broken gates that I paint gold. But it's that's really impressive. Excellent job there. You went to the Meet of Champions. Did well. Made the Eastern team if we would have gone to Easterns. And you know, just watching you ski over the years, and this year was just great. Congratulations on excellent skiing career here, athletic career here, and you know, best of luck at St. Joe's. Okay, best contribution. Charles. You know, it's you know, he wasn't here last year as a Waterville Valley Academy and kind of pursuing his dream there, and I missed him. But when he came back this year, I think we all realized, you know, he's fast. Yeah, definitely he's fast. He's fun. He's fun and funny and sometimes inappropriate. But you know, I love you, and it's, you know, you won 8 races this year. That's really Classic. You won slalom at the stadium, and you know, you won when it meant the most, and you know, that's awesome. That's incredible. And I know there was a lot of pressure on you, and as well as the rest of the team. You know, you're going to get your name on that banner again, and you know, I'm really proud of you for that. Proud of what you brought to the team, and you are now the only person in Lin-Wood history to win the slalom and giant slalom twice. And there's some good skiers that have come here, you know, and you know, that's hard to do because it just all has to work out, and that's really impressive. I just kind of wanted to share that. Awesome. American State Skier of the Year. Third place at the Media Champions with all 4 divisions, and like along with Jacob, if we had an Eastern, it would have been on the Hampshire Eastern team. And I think the thing is just how hard you worked at skiing and ski racing, and just all the things, and, you know, the experience that you brought to this team has really meant a lot for the younger kids, helping out the middle school as well. And you know, we're keeping the tradition alive, and it's a team like this that helps build that tradition. So you know, I'm really going to miss watching you ski. If you haven't had a chance to see Charlie ski, it's really, there's a nice flow to his skiing. He's fast, and you know, it looks like he's having fun, and he's incredibly fast. And, you know, this year's best contribution, Charles Lux. We have some jackets for the boys ski team, for the state championship jackets, and then I believe there's some banners that need to be pulled down as well. So we'll get the jackets after, and why don't you head on over and why don't you do the individual one first and then do the team? All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Coach Aaron, I'm not going to let you go later than that. I've always said that my next door neighbor is this high school ski racing coach. And I've gotten to get behind the scenes the last couple of years, and he's a lot more than that. And you really saw it this year during the pandemic when the rest of the high school state coaches asked, Mr. Laux, what do we do? And so thank you, Aaron, very much for putting together a season for us this year. As you heard, we didn't miss one race. It was not any different. Well, it was much different than the year prior, but we've had as many races, and that wouldn't happen without Aaron. So thank you very much, Aaron.
So this has been great, and I know it's like been really long, so I'll try to keep it brief. So awesome just to have everybody together, and I'd like to say that I'm really happy to be giving this speech live and in person this year. Last year's Booster Club Awards banquet was virtual. Don't get me wrong, I was very thankful that we even had a banquet given what was happening in our lives. So I guess this might be the perfect segue to say that this year's Booster of the Year is Dan Adams. Because without Dan Adams, we would not have had a virtual banquet last year. I don't know where he is, but he's supposed to be in here right now. He said he was in here when I texted him earlier. Anyway, so I'll give the speech without him. He can watch it on the live stream. Dan Adams is a vital member of the Booster Club, even though he's not on any official Booster Club roster. Dan is our go-to guy for everything technology related. Tonight's slideshow, thanks Dan. The senior athlete posters, thanks Dan. Live streaming right now, he's probably watching in his office. Thanks Dan. All of the home basketball games that were live streamed on the Kane Connection, thanks Dan. Just yesterday, I was working on this speech when Dan walked into my room. He said, hey, what are we going to do about that slideshow? How are we going to project it? I said, I don't know, what do you think? So we chatted about it for a few minutes, and we got it figured out. I said, what do you need me to do? His response, nothing, I got it. Anytime I ask Dan to help out the Booster Club, he does it. I've never even met the people at the Photo Factory because I send him an email and Dan goes and picks it all up, pays for it, takes care of it for us. He never says no. He never complains about anything I ask him to do. And I greatly appreciate Dan. He does so much for the Booster Club. And we are so very grateful for him. And if he went home, I'm going to wring his neck. Dan Adams. Some really cool things for you that we got for you all, and thanks so much, and thanks for all your hard work this year, guys, and coaches too. We appreciate it. Have a great night.